second it.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Discuss possible is that what it is? Discuss possible?
Yeah, the next item on your agenda is a discussion of the possible modification of the 21-22 reopening plan. And the issue before the floor is the board's decision as to whether or not to implement the procedures which your superintendent has recommended that will allow you to implement the parent choice plan. And as a thumbnail, I know we have people here in the audience and those at home. The plan which your superintendent has provided is set out in writing. It'll be available to anyone that wants it. It allows for parents to choose whether or not to allow their children to return to school if they've been identified as a close contact with certain conditions in place. Number one, if a child is identified as a close contact, the parent is notified and they make the decision as to whether the child returns. If the child is to return, the parent accompanies the child to school the first day and signs an acknowledgement form and a waiver form saying that their child is, they know that quarantine is generally recommended by some entities, but they're making the decision for their child to come back. Once that's done, the child will be allowed to come back, but every morning their temperature will be checked and symptoms will be monitored, and if they ever develop symptoms or temperature, then they will be isolated and have to return home as is the regular protocol. So parents do have a choice. They will have to sign the form acknowledging that they've been so notified, and the child will have their temperature checked. As an additional safeguard, if a school experiences a spike or if a classroom experiences a spike, the procedure your superintendent has recommended would allow her to resort back to the normal quarantine rules to address that concern that spikes up.
So John, the term
Yes,
of
sir.
spike, what determines that? What
Well,
number determines that?
There is no number. What your superintendent and your school nurses will do is they will be in consultation with the Department of Health, the Louisiana Department of Health, and they will get expert advice from the medical professionals that will allow them. And it may depend on the number of kids in that class. It may depend on the positivity of it. There'll be a lot of factors. She won't be just blindly swinging in the dark. She'll be making that call to the health department.
All right, one more
Yes, sir.
One more question. Can this be adopted by an individual school and not the rest of the parish? Can one school be singled out and say, this is what we're gonna do at this school? In other words, if there's a spike at a school, but every other school is fine.
Yeah, yes, that the superintendent's discretion there and to the contact with the Department of Health, it will be based on an individual, it may be an individual class. It may be an individual school. It certainly would not impact the entire district.
Good question.
Several districts have either adopted this or are considering it. This is not a decision for your lawyer to make. We have discussed the legalities, nor is it a decision of your superintendent. The numbers in the state are going downward. We hope that they continue to do so. There's no perfect plan. We even discussed that. What is before you is the best that we could come up with that would allow for the implementation of the parent option.
All right, do I hear a motion?
I
Have we
so
accepted?
moved.
All right, do I hear a second?
Let me state the motion.
All
Go
right,
right ahead.
Can the motion be, I move that we approve and accept the recommended procedures of our superintendent that will allow for the implementation of the parent choice quarantine plan?
As written up in this.
Yes, sir.
I'm written here.
That was your motion, Ms. Patricia? Thank you.
I second that motion.
All right, do we need a roll call vote on that, Father D?
That, whatever you suit you. It's not a requirement.
That's fine by me. That's all right with y'all?
Mhm.
So we'll start with Mr. Randy Rance,
Yes.
Ms. McKee.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Glass.
No.
Ms. Bass. Yes. Mr. Castles.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Thank y'all. That concludes my business. I'm heading north.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item H is the financial update.
Yay, finally get to talk tonight. Let's revisit briefly on that $1,100 plan. the exact number needs to be 1,104.46, so 1105, if that's okay. After I got, when we were in executive session, I thought, let me just check my numbers, because I thought I could do it in my head, and I didn't do it that well. So anyway, 1105. Now on item H, you should have this page available. There's 5 pages, but only the first page wasn't available. This is a recap of all the 4 funds that are the main ones that we talked about: general fund, sales tax, and lunch, and maintenance fund. The general fund takes up the first 2/3 of the page. The main thing to look at is the benefits. That's going up $99,000 as compared to last year. And that's because we're on the HRA 1000 plan. And that's whenever a new person signs up, which we have new teachers signed up at the beginning of the year. There's $1,000 or $2,000 depending on whether they are single or not single. And that gets deposited in their bank account, or not, into an account for their use for health savings. But overall, the monthly charge goes down. So we pay less overall. But that's the front end charge. And then the other big item is line 500, other purchased services, $187,000 increase. That's property taxes, property insurance that went from $238,000 to $425,000. And that's budgeted as well. So, I mean, we're okay. We just, again, find why we have an increase. Sales tax, you already have a recap on that earlier. Nothing, that's the report. Lunch fund is going fine. Well, I did break it out because last year we had $150,000 that were transferred because they were broke coming off of the last spring at that point. So we transferred that money out early. That's the reason we have $150,000 change there. And then maintenance fund is pretty much identical to last year. And that's it. Individual funds follow on the remaining 4 pages. That's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you, David.
So I got a good question.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
The new truck you purchased, does it have electric windows?
I have no idea.
No one knows. We bought one at the water system through the state bid, and I didn't realize it. It's a very nice truck. The maintenance man came by my house the other day and he stopped and he said, "We made a mistake on this truck." He said, "The truck has rolled down windows."
Oh, gosh.
And he said, "I can't talk to you anymore." If I have to talk to him across the way, I have to get out and go around the truck. Can you imagine? I just wonder if it has electric windows.
I assume it does.
Somebody asked.
We'll find out.
Who's driving the car? All right.
George and Charles
Oh, we can get the vote
and,
together.
someone, yeah.
All right, item A is district leaders update.
All right. Brief update?
Yes, brief updates. We've got a lot of things going on. We've had some training and things. Our Head Start, or at Kelly, we have 50 kids right now. At the pre-K, we have 105. We did last year at the pre-K, and this year it's going to be extended. So we're doing a trunk or treat where business and community leaders are coming and setting up. We have 30 people or businesses signed up right now, and so that's going to be for Kelly, pre-K, and all the kindergartens are going to come up there. We've always, came to town, and we appreciate it, but no one knows unless they've done that with those little kids how tired they are and getting on and off the bus, and it's safety issues. So last year it went so well, we wanted to try it, and so we are this year, and everybody's been very receptive to it, so we're excited about that. Yesterday we had a truck from Walgreens. It was a donation made at Kelly. 23 pallets of hand sanitizer, gloves, baby wipes, and soap. And so some will be used at the school, some it's going to be care packages for families. We had to pay the shipping on it, but that was it. I think it was $1,200 shipping, and it was a 18-wheeler load pallets.
That's amazing.
23 pallets of stuff. So we were excited about that. Took some doing getting it unloaded, but we got it.
Who did you find?
Duff's had a pallet jack that they brought, but the truck driver had got a little antsy before they got there, so Robert took chains and went up and they wrapped around the pallet and pulled it and then dropped the chain and used the fork. So
I started telling you that.
Yeah, he had started doing that because the driver was getting a little, time, because we were initially, Wallace's was gonna unload it for us onto trailers. But they didn't tell us till the day before, definite date, and so getting the trailers lined up was gonna be a problem, so, it all worked out. It just took everybody doing it. Then he got them moved inside, and the teachers unpacked one pallet yesterday. Ashley and I went last night and unpacked 3 pallets, and they were gonna work on them some more today, so. It's a lot, I mean, 23 pallets is a lot stacked up, so.
Yeah.
And some good news, I think y'all will be excited to hear. With our ESSER money and our chief plan, we have done for 3 years. So after 3 years, we'll just have to see where things are, and we maybe, the president's pushing a lot of money toward early childhood. There could be some other things come up, but we are funding a classroom at Kelly that will be, so these kids that are over income and not qualifying will be able to accept those kids in.
Oh,
So we're planning on, we already have the teacher, we've got to find a pair, but we're planning on starting it November 1st, or 2nd, that Tuesday. And we've already contacted parents on the waiting list and let them know that we need to go ahead and get their documents and things together, that and they're still interested. So, and I feel like with knowing that, we'll have some more, some families, come that want to do that. So we're really excited. So we'll let you know next month how it's going, because by then we should have it up and running and the kids there. So we're excited about that.
By the end of November, is that what you're saying?
November 2nd.
Oh,
So 2
first
weeks.
of November.
1st of November, yeah. That's what I said, by the board meeting, we should have it up and going, and by then have more kids enrolled hopefully in there, so.
good.
Yeah, we're excited.
Thank you. Do you want me to wait for Maria's update for next time, or do you want me to go ahead and give it? Mr. Glass, did you wanna?
I would prefer her to do it, but
Okay.
if you got information.
I have my
that's
own
fine.
updates, but I was gonna,
Well, go ahead, that's fine.
okay, I'll just, I'll save hers and let her, I don't want us to
No,
overrun
no,
her.
no, I'm saying if you got it, you can go to, I just wanted to, since she has started.
Oh, I'm
it's
sure
over
she'll
on top.
have more.
Yeah,
She's
you
busy.
get
She's
what you
busy,
got.
So, I don't know, I've said this before, I don't know what I would have done without this position, because, there's, no way. It is definitely a job in itself, just keeping up to date with all the initiatives and things. So, we meet each other coming and going, and we are working together a lot. But this is her updates. Early literacy screeners and our Spire placement assessments have been administered across the district, and the data has been put in. Spire's our phonics, our new phonics program we bought with ESSER 3ED. Our data showed that our students are reading below grade level, and that there was a definite learning loss, which we knew. We have implemented school-based literacy teams, and they meet monthly to discuss the data. She's done this twice, and I have been trying hit or miss at most of them, and they go over data and review where the problems are. And the last one that she did, the K through 2 teachers, they're writing specific action plans for each student. They're individualized based on their data and their needs. So we're already seeing growth on these action plans. Like within a week into the action plans, we're seeing kids growing. And lastly, she said we're using our new phonics program and the department resources during our Accelerate time, which everybody has built into their schedule. And what that is tutoring within the school day. So it's equitable, so every student gets it. And we're using all those things to provide interventions during that Accelerate time.
So you're thinking basically where we're at now is you getting some positive feedback, it's working, it's being forward.
We're definitely starting to see some teeth to it, and
Was it quicker than what you thought it would be?
actually, yeah. We looked at we knew we needed a phonics program prior to this, and the money and budgeting, being able to budget and buy a phonics program and get it into place day one, getting the teachers trained this summer, and anything new, there's gonna be like, it takes a minute to get it going. But the teachers love it, and we're doing it K through 5. So you have your fifth graders and your fourth graders and your third graders that aren't reading on grade level that are getting these
Right,
interventions.
so you may be able to catch them before they get too far gone, okay.
And Miss Meredith and I have talked about even trying to implement it, because it goes up through grade 8, the program does.
Well, see,
So-
maybe she doesn't have to cover, that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that we were catching them before they got outside of that
Yes.
third grade level, so
Yes.
we're okay, so she doesn't have to cover, that's what I wanted to make sure.
Mhm. So
that we were there.
definitely.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
So you're telling me those teachers have to write a lesson plan for each and every one of those?
No, it's
kids?
not a lesson plan. It's an action plan.
Okay.
What they do is they
How
level,
often do they write those?
it's just, well,
Once?
my explanation of how it's written may answer your question. So what they use to write the plan is their ERLA data. And ERLA is the intervention piece that's built into our reading program. And so the teachers conference with students twice a week, once a week, however much, depending on the kid's level. If they're emergency or intensive, if they're on grade level, not as much as those that have the biggest need. And so they put that data in the computer and it generates a report. And so then based on that report, it basically writes it for them, but what they're doing in an action plan, they take that data and say, okay, I'm gonna work with her on these 4 words, and it's already there for them, so they're not going through all the data and having to look it up. So they're making more use of their pacing and time. So when that kid comes to them for conferencing in that one-on-one time, all they have to do is look at that action plan and say, okay, we're working on these 4 words. And they do that, and then they plan for their next 4 words and their next 4 words.
Okay.
So it's individual, so there's really not a time. You revise the plan, it's a working document. Does that answer your
Yes.
question?
Thank
Okay.
So Kim, do you feel we can, I know we'll never catch up, but we can make some dents in where we were versus where we're trying to go?
Yeah.
That was my concern, Nick, and we talked about those who were far gone, you know, that may not ever get, you know, something. So if we can get 20, 25, or 30%, we've put a dent in it. So I know you can't give me that, but 3 years from now, we should make up.
Oh,
We're
Yeah.
counting on it.
we're
Right.
counting on it.
Yeah.
We want kids, and we already are seeing more kids in school.
Right.
And then hopefully after tonight, we'll be even more, the kids want to, and, the teachers want to. The teachers are working just tirelessly, and, everybody is trying to catch them up, because we know once they leave us, the chances of get slimmer and slimmer as you go,
So is it any component with a parent, because, some kids, they get it at school, but when they get home, it's nothing, so they come back the next day, forgotten what, so is there a component where the parent is, I guess you guys interact with maybe some of the parents or the kids who may be,
we're hoping in our
At some
parent
point.
conference
Okay.
that's coming up, we have scripted, we kind of made a script for each school. Mr. Simmons
Right.
did one for middle and high, and I did one for elementary, where we make sure that the teachers are covering,
Right.
what does this mean? And we send home the parent report, but they may not know how to read it. And so that may give them an opportunity to sit down and say, here's what this is what this means, here's what you can do.
right.
And
And Kim, Nick, I've said this before, and I have to say it the way it was said to me. There are some parents who are from my neck of the woods who are scared to talk to them people. So sometimes you have to get outside of that box.
right,
So if you're aware of that, because like I said, I think
Yeah.
there's a disconnect between,
right.
communities. So when they come, sometimes you may just have to be a whole different person. But once they get, a little confidence, most of them are talking, they'll tell you pretty much what their problems are, because I'm still seeing kids.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and we
think-
set up our parent-teacher
Yeah.
conferences so that they could be in person, they could be by
Well,
Google
that's
Meet,
good.
or they could be by phone, because we wanted, our goal is not necessarily to give the report card, it's to build a relationship with
Right.
that parent, and so I'm having the principals, actually, they're reporting back to me what percentage in each grade actually made contact.
Well,
And
Kim, I
so,
forgot, you
that's
worked at
This plan that we approved tonight,
You know what I'm talking
this plan that we just approved tonight addresses a lot of
Oh,
those
yeah.
problems as far
Yeah.
as communication
Yes.
with the parents and having better communication with
Yeah.
the parents. You'll find out, hopefully we will, that this plan does address a lot of the issues that you've
Yeah.
been talking about.
Yeah,
a big push on equity and making sure that we don't let any kids fall through the cracks because of their circumstances, and that we actually run authentic partnerships, not just
right.
superficial, but authentic partnerships where we are on the same team working for the same goal. So we know we've got to do better.
You gotta keep it. Actually, Robert, I talked to a child. A lot
She's
of
got
people don't
fever.
understand.
Oh, he's
Well,
talking to me.
he said it best. See, teaching is more than discussing your information. That child won't tell you what he'll tell me. Even today, they'll tell me, Mr. King, I'm sick of going to school. You know why? What's the biggest reason? Treat it differently. You may not see it, but that child does. They can be black, they can be white.
And a lot of times it's
And I'm
perception.
serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's perception,
It
yes.
is.
And this kid is not gonna learn if he think you don't care nothing about it.
That's right.
That's right. Building those relationships are so important, and,
I'm serious. If that don't take place, this ain't gonna mean doodly squat.
But you know, Kim, nigga, I'm counting on that one, that particular program, because
Got to.
from its inception, it was a good, well thought out program that addressed exactly what we had taught, prior to this even coming. I'm even, saying if we had to go outside of the 3 years, find creative funding. Because if, like I said, if you can get 25 or 30%, that's a lot. Even though it's under the 50%, that's a lot of kids.
It is.
That's
It
a
is.
lot.
well, and we're finally seeing, like we're connecting the dots together as a team, even with pupil appraisal between, talking with Tanya and her data that
Right.
she's getting, and Maria and I and Rebecca, and once we were like, oh, they're not getting these connections, why? And how can we address that? And so, there's constantly things coming out new from the State Department, and she does monthly, or weekly, it's weekly calls, it feels like, where they're updating the literacy initiative and, updating things, and she's on top of everything that comes out, and meeting with the teachers and making sure we don't miss a thing.
And the teachers are receptive to it?
Yeah.
That's good.
They are.
It's a good fit.
It's a good fit. Sometimes it's good to let the student talk to you.
Absolutely. You can learn a lot from a kid.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a student, and I by no means was mentioned that. Totally dislike some of the elementary teachers because of that fact alone. That kid can sit there and know them if you care anything about it. Because it's in here.
And they'll move mountains for you if they know.
That was
you
our
care.
conversation yesterday with Teach Like a Pirate,
Mhm.
is that, the kids will move mountains for teachers that they know love them. So, they will. So,
They'll
It
also
is.
take advantage of you too if you let them.
You're right,
Yeah.
Ain't that right?
fine line.
It is, you have to balance it out, yeah. I'm not gonna bore you with my stuff, I just wanna say that, cause I've talked enough, but, our leaders are, I just always want to give a shout out to my principals and my instructional coaches, because they're going above and beyond, and they have been, going on 2 years now, but, part of our plan is the staff PBIS, where everybody is district-wide is doing something for their faculty to, and they have it planned out for the year to help motivate and let them know how much they're appreciated. And we've had a lot of "Aren't you glad it's October's" and things like that, and they need to know that they're appreciated because it's tough.
Kim, I am impressed. Tell you to your face, I am impressed. I'm satisfied because I had some, just some words, because, you want it to be successful, but you don't really know. And I mean, the information that you've given me, it's exactly what I was hoping. And I can see now, like I said, if we can get where we can get. So Nick,
We're gonna try our best.
at some point, I'll have to probably text Nick and maybe apologize to him.
I love this thing. I was saying her? Oh, no, Miss Lou, yeah.
All those people, they're still there. But now they were getting to see that the upper echelon care about that.
That makes me different in the
It
cafeteria.
does. It does. They
She
love
worked in the
her.
cafeteria.
She did at the high school.
Sure thing,
Sure did.
too.
Sure did. Sweet, sweet lady, definitely missed. All right, Ralph, follow up.
Well, I was gonna talk about staff PBIS, but that's okay, Kim, that's okay.
Ralph is in charge of all that's his area of the district strategic plan. So, you can tell?
I can tell, it's fun stuff.
It is fun stuff, Ralph loves the fun stuff.
Card of oranges up here.
Well, we didn't budget for central office, just the schools, sorry.
Maybe I'm not Reese's.
It's all good. Charlie Amos at the high school, our secondary academic recovery specialist, SARS, has been working diligently recovering assignments with kids. We're best utilizing our new resources and getting kids pulled to make up assignments during their elective periods. The problem we realized in December, January last year with all the quarantines, kids going in and out, etc., that was a mountain is only a molehill at this point, and we're making a dent in it. So we're recovering as much as we can because, we realize what it's going to mean on the back end. Also, the ACT boot camp is coming up this Monday. We've invested some of our, which funds? ESSER funds to see if we can help with that. We know that was one of the data points we looked at the retreat was the steady decline in the ACT. So between incorporating the grammar bell ringers every day in all the English classes and the ACT boot camp, we'll have some results in a couple of months as to the effectiveness of the ACT boot camp. And we're hoping that it's all the bells and whistles that we hope it is.
And if it is, we budgeted to do it again in the spring.
February. Yeah, before the March test.
Have you had a lot of kids sign up for it?
27 so far. And in order to sign up initially, they had to be registered for the October test, which is coming up next Saturday at the high school, or the December test that they go take at another site.
Is there still time to sign up?
Yes, absolutely. There's still seats, 13 seats
I
available.
wanted to carry inside of it.
How's Mr. Amos's health?
Is who?
Mr. Amos's health,
Yeah.
his helper,
Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about, making up the assignments.
and he's doing really
Oh,
well.
we are best, yeah, we
Oh,
are.
he's up.
Yeah.
Talking about
Yes, he's hopping every day. Yeah, we're best utilizing him, and he's pulling kids, making up
That's
assignments. Oh, absolutely.
That's great. This works on these youngins, they've worked out.
Well, is that,
Is that everybody?
she's out. Okay. All right, I don't have much. I think we've had enough. I'm trying to think what we did. We talked at the retreat last week, and
Can you fill me in on the retreat since I wasn't there?
yeah, absolutely. So we talked a lot, and I will send you a copy of that district strategic plan. We talked a lot about the data behind it and what drove those decisions, and we had to learn through that it's a 5-year plan. You don't have to fix it all in 1 year. And so that's something we've really had to learn to do, and as far as being accountable with our plans and making sure that things don't fall through the cracks, and really just learning how to make it work. And then trust the plan, and then let the plan work, and just keep going with it. But super excited about where we are and where we're headed. I want to communicate that at our next Parent Academy. Erica Rodnack's doing a great job with those parent academies on Monday, one Monday a month. We've had great participation, and she is good working with that, good with the new teacher program that she's doing. She handles all of our new teachers. That's part of our district strategic plan, is making sure that we, I'll just kind of real quickly show you, strengthening onboarding with our staff. So our initiatives, the first one was to make sure that we deepen the content knowledge of teachers and school leaders with a comprehensive system of support. So making sure that our principals are not building managers, that they're actually instructional leaders, and they're leading our teachers so that our teachers can work with our kids. And then the next one is strengthening social emotional learning and supports for all students. So we're looking at adopting a program for our junior high and high school that really teach our kids to be well-grounded adults and leaders, and knowing how to deal with their feelings. And a lot of people don't like to hear about social emotional, but something that COVID has brought on is just an understanding that we've got to understand each other better. And so we're working on that with Ms. Meredith is in charge of that one. Deepening existing partnerships with families. This is why we're having the the virtual academies, we're having the parent-teacher conferences, and we've got things that we're working on with our special needs parents to make sure that we're transferring what is happening at school to how they can help their kids at home as far as communication goes. And then our last one is Ralph's with the ensuring that we have strong social emotional wellness and inclusive team culture, so that we are strengthening our onboarding. The teachers that we hire, we make them feel supported, we make them feel successful, and we support them so that they never want to leave us and stay. And then we're growing those. We've redesigned the TAP training to make sure that we're all aligned, and supporting our new teachers. And then of course with the staff PBIS, making sure that teachers feel appreciated, they feel like, I see what you're doing, I'm working hard, I know. And then also, yesterday we treated our school leaders to a luncheon, and because this is principal month, which we just say principal, assistant principal, literacy integration is everyone. And so making sure everyone feels appreciated for the work that they do. So that's our 5-year plan, and those are all the 32 pages of steps that is behind the work in that. But Bear and I will make sure I send you a copy, and I'll just send it to all of y'all, just to make sure you have a copy that you can look at. We'll send you one you can view, not one you can edit.
What did he say? It was like doing Family Dollar every 5 miles or something like that the other
Oh,
night?
having a road map with all of our stops included on it.
Yeah.
The convenience stores, the Dollar Generals, not just Alexandria and Butler on the map, but all those places in
I
between.
mean, there was a section for another section after another section.
Yeah, just about when we thought we were done, we weren't.
They added tabs.
So, all right, and then we come together every Friday morning at 8 o'clock, and we review and we talk about what's coming up next, and so it's really keeping us grounded in our work. So, very good. The only thing other thing I have is that the November meeting needs to be rescheduled because of the LASBO conference. So, we're supposed to meet on November the 14th, 11th, and they're going to be gone, the whole business department. So, can we reschedule? When are y'all be going?
We went back late that day, so is that right?
I think so.
Sorry.
But I don't think we get out till 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you said we'll get out till 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
we'll get out till 4 o'clock, Lake Charles. So,
Okay.
But we will be here on Tuesday. Is that
Dave.
right, David?
Sure about that. David don't have a good track record.
Dave, your wife,
Don't wait till David graduates.
Dave, your wife really must be, cause you ain't as sharp as you normally be tonight. I'm just gonna go there and tell you.
All right, Amy, you can't come
Dave,
back.
You slacking now. You slacking.
Quiet.
Yeah, he ain't as sharp as he used to be.
Usually take up the whole meeting.
I agree.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to that. I noticed every now and then she'll cut her eye back here.
I noticed too.
That's awesome.
Do y'all wanna Huh? I'm looking at that for him. Do y'all want, how about the Monday, or the Thursday before, November the 4th? Can we just bump it up a week?
I won't have anything to report on the fourth,
How about the
in
weekend?
case that's
let's do
important
it.
to anybody.
He said he don't have anything to report before.
We won't have all of our deposits and everything.
Okay, hang on.
Right? Okay, we said nobody.
The 18th is the next Thursday.
The 18th is the next Thursday with Bears basketball.
But you don't have to be on Thursday.
What about Tuesday?
You don't have to be on Thursday.
You don't have to be on
There's
Thursday.
basketball games every Tuesday and Thursday. I was trying to work around that.
Well, what about a Monday?
Monday would be great.
Monday's fine with me.
Monday, the 8th.
Will you have something to report in
That'd
there?
be good.
Okay.
November 8th.
Monday, November 8th.
But that's the Monday before the scheduled meeting.
Right,
Okay.
right,
What?
yes.
The Monday
The
before the
week
scheduled
week
meeting,
is
what
that
is that?
Monday that week.
So we'll do 5:30 and 6, yeah. Little class? November 8th.
That's what I said, Dale.
Fine, I get off early on Mondays, that's no big deal, whatever time we do.
Is there anything else? Superintendent's on the phone, let's see. Is there
I
anything-
put it in the calendar so that it's on the, it's on the district calendar now, so. That's it.
You made a motion, Ms. Keith? Okay.
I'll second it.
All right?
Everybody ready to go?
That's right, long meeting.
Ah.
I know, I know.